Hello, it's Stephanie with Copy Paper Scissors. I'm going to be working on a little bit more of the reorganization of my craft room. I'll be working on going through my paper. I don't have a ton of paper as compared to a lot of people, but it's a lot for me. I mean, I don't know that I could ever get through it, honestly. um, there are papers I don't like anymore, and there are lots of scraps within the paper packs as well. So I'll be trying to figure out a way to organize the scraps but keep them with the paper pack, and then downsizing hopefully a little bit. If you have your paper packs stored and things like this, you know what it's like. You're thinking, oh, I'm working on a journal and I know I have a paper pack. And so you come in, this is what I do anyway. I kind of start digging from the side. And as I do, things start sliding out. This paper pack, I haven't used all that much, so I don't have a ton of pieces in it. But things start sliding out. Then I'm picking up stuff off the floor. So what I'm thinking is cleaning these things up. Well, I do need to go through and, like, for instance, this paper pack, I just don't use it. I don't really like the colors. I don't know that I like the birthday theme. I think that it would go, one of the reasons why I keep it is because I think it would go in like a little golden book journal if it's the right tone. So that's why I kept it. I need to I don't know. I need to find the golden book and actually make the journal, don't I? But this is what I want to work on. See all of this stuff sticking out like this? And so then as I'm going through and cleaning that up, also deciding whether or not I want to keep the papers. I know I bought this one at a thrift store and I just don't like it. But then I see, oh, I might use some of these in a little golden book journal. And so then I don't throw the whole thing away. I remember buying this one. I thrifted this one and I made a mostly yellow journal. And so many of the pages that are left are, to me, hard to use, because I don't really use these really dark colors, but I like that paper. So, okay, so yeah, these are the trials that we have. So not only do I need to clean up my paper packs, I hate it when that happens, and it happens almost all the time. I also need to just brutally go through these things and get rid of what I know that I'm not going to use. I don't know if I can actually do that, but let's work on this one. All right, so first off, I want to tape the cover back onto the paper pack. Since I'm one to store my paper within the pack, that's just kind of what works best for me. I think maybe some people take and pull their papers apart and store them that way. I don't know. This just works for me. So I've taken one long sheet and I'm going to do my best to not fuss with the tape too much and tape it back on. It's best to do this when you still have kind of a full paper pack. Honestly, anytime I buy a new paper pack, I should just put tape on it so that it doesn't fall apart on me. And I've got some hanging over the side, so I won't cut that off. This tape is kind of strange. It's the it's the Duck brand, which I thought wasn't quite so, I don't know, it tears crazy easy. It's frustrating when I'm pulling out a piece of the tape, it actually breaks before I finish getting it and cutting it, you know, right now. it breaks as I'm cutting it. It's kind of strange. So not my favorite brand of packaging tape, but okay. So we have our cover taped back on. I'm going to pull these out. They're just the little extra pieces. So what I'm thinking to do, oh goodness, look at all of those. Horrible, isn't it? What I'm thinking to do is add a pocket here. I have these really big manila envelopes, and you know, maybe somebody would make a journal out of it or something. I've had these for a while. I haven't done that, so I don't think I'm going to. And I've got so many that if I want to make a journal or two with, you know, some, it's not like I can't still do that. Just because I have so many. So I'm okay using them in this way. I'm going to make marks and use my paper cutter and cut right at those marks. I could leave it so that the closed end is still on there, but I've played with this idea a little bit, and I think what works best for me is doing it this way. And you'll hopefully see why here in a second. Oops, I don't use this paper cutter very often. I tried to use my other one and it didn't work through all of the layers. And then it's about 10 1/4 inches that way, so I'm gonna cut it at 5 1/8, and so thick the where the paper comes together is, you know, it's really thick. So this will be for another one. This one is going to be for this one. All right, get this stuff out of the way. Like happy birthday, I don't think I'm ever going to use that paper. I kind of like the way the paper looks, but I don't think I'm ever going to, I don't think I'm going to make a happy birthday journal. All right, I want 2 pockets. This has a little bit extra paper on it, so I'm going to leave that there. It's going to be my back pocket, and I want to make a front pocket. I'm just going to fold it down. That's going to be the front pocket, and it's going to be for my smaller scraps. We'll glue that down real quick. I'm gluing that down as if it's going to be a pocket. What I wanted to do was just glue it down so it stays put. And then we'll glue it down as a pocket. Now, my scraps that are 12 inches still, they're not going to fit, but that's okay. I've had this paper pack since I started making journals. This is like one of the first things I ever bought. And in all of these years, these scraps have been floating around. So I am going to cut them down to fit in this pocket. And I don't feel like I'm losing a resource because it's just been sitting there all these years anyway. And so rather than having the mess, I'm going to lose a 1/4 inch of paper. I hope that makes sense. I'll explain as I'm going. Put my lid on if I can. So now I am going to glue my pocket right to my cover, making sure I leave space for it to, you know, still close. And I'm going to close it and push it down. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute and work on cutting some things down. I know I don't need this top part because it's where it, you know, it's the part that comes off anyway. And then it looks like I made a whole bunch of snowflakes at one point. So I don't need that. That's trash. And that's fine. I don't mind that. I am just going to cut down the ones that I know are big. See, I like this paper, but it's happy birthday to you. I don't know. I just don't know what I'll do. And I am going to cut off the side because it's 12 inches and it's not going to fit anymore. And like I said, this has been sitting there for years. I'm more interested in it fitting into my paper pack than losing 1/4 of an inch off the side of, or 1/2 of an inch off the side of the paper. It's not that big of a deal to me. I know this one's really tall. I don't know if it's a full 12 inches, is it? Yep, it is. So let's just cut that down. Oh, that one's short. That's good. And those are short. So I don't need that. I don't need that paper. Why am I holding on to it? But I kind of like it. Isn't that ridiculous? I'm going to cut it down like this. Because if I were making like a scrappy tag or something. Anyway, now let me show you what I'm thinking to do. Get my tape out of the way. So I'm thinking put the taller papers in the tall pocket, and I can layer them so that, now is this one gonna fit? Nope, I didn't give myself enough. So I might have to actually lose, you know, I'm gonna lose it this direction. You know, when we're making a journal and a lot of times our papers are 8.5 by 11. So you know what? I'm gonna cut it down to 11. Because that makes sense to me. So now it fits in. And I want to spread them out so that they're not all, you know, just in one spot. The smaller ones can go in the front. And if I have some that are, you know, kind of the same color, maybe I'll keep those together. Like these ones. This one is like this one. And now hopefully these are going to stay in place when I am digging through my paper packs when I'm looking for something. Why am I keeping this? Why? It would make a good tab. It's not a bad piece of paper. This one also, you know, like a scrappy tag. Why am I keeping it? Okay, well, I will at least get rid of the little strips that I cut off. What else do I have in here? So another thing I do sometimes is, as I'm using something, I'll do that. I'll just lay it in. I'm actually going to leave that one in there because it'll tuck up in there nice and tight. I'm okay with that. Are there scraps that are going to fall out? Look at all these. I need to use this. I need to use it. Okay, so there we go. Now when I'm digging through, things aren't going to fall out. I don't like how far that one's sticking out though, so let's fix it. Just gonna shorten it a little bit. We'll take off that. See, now I can use that on a scrappy tag. Will I? Is it gonna live in there forever? Probably. But it's neat and tidy. If I can get done with one box a day so that I'm not just, you know, doing nothing but organizing. I want to create at the same time, but if I could do one box a day, then that wouldn't be too bad at all. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this box and I'll show you when I'm all done. Okay, I have a box done. So this one is brand new. I haven't used any of the pages out of it yet. I should have been a little bit more brutal and gotten rid of some more, but you know what? I feel like I've given it another opportunity. I did decide to get rid of one pack that most of the pages I didn't like in it. The pages that I did, I pulled out. So there we go. That one is all fixed up and ready for me to use and not be a terrible mess. I have several more to go, but I think I'll work on them slowly and do a little crafting in between. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps somebody, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.